Here at A-Corp Media, we provide a platform for all things political, from national issues to local elections. We try to discuss these with civility and integrity. This is In the Arena. I would like to welcome Stoddard County Clerk Cecil Weeks to In the Arena. Cecil, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you. Cecil, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, where you call home.
Well, I call Bernie home, lived there 20 plus years, married to Myra. We used to be married to the late Neil Botch. Between us, we have 5 children, 14 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchildren, or child, I should say. That's where I call home.
Sounds like a full house at Christmas.
It is a full house at Christmas. It's a lot of fun.
Well, Cecil, one thing we like to do here on the show is educate the viewer. And just what does the Stoddard County Clerk do?
Good question. I'm glad you asked that because there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to that.
Even with me,
well,
I'm confused myself.
Well, when you look up in the book, a clerk, the definition of clerk, keeper of records. Mm-hmm. Yes, we keep the records all right for the county, but we do more than that. And I did not have any idea what all we did, but my previous experience, which we'll get into in a little bit, helped me prepare for this. The county clerk is also the budget officer for the county. I have a responsibility once a year to present a budget to the commissioners. Once they approve the budget and make the necessary changes, of course, that they need to make in it, it's my responsibility to watch the budget throughout the year and notify them if something is out of line. I have to review all the pay vouchers for the county, keep the wheels turning for the county. Our office is the HR by default. Doesn't describe that in that as well, but we are the HR. Like I said, I review the vouchers, present them to the commission for payment. We also do the payroll for the county. We'll pay 92 employees this month. So the employees like us one time a month. They really like to see our office come through with the payroll. There's just a lot of jobs that we do in that office. Probably one of the important jobs for the schools and in the cities, the townships, is assessed valuation. The assessor will of course assess your property, personal and real. He will certify that probably next day or two. We'll have it in our office after he certifies it. Then it's up to us. I say us, my office, which I have a good staff of people. There's 5 of us counting me, and we need 5 because we're busy all the time. We will put that in the proper places it needs to go. In other words, each school district will have an assessed valuation. Each township, each road district, city, and believe you me, they're waiting on that. They have to have that before they can set their property tax rate. And guess what? They can't do anything until the county clerk certifies it. And that's a 2 to 3 week process for us to put those numbers together. Who would have thought the county clerk would be responsible for that? Checks and balance put in by the state. Assessor does the assessment. We put it all where it belongs. Checks and balance with the collector's office. We do that all the time. We sign off on things for that office. So I could go down the list and bore you with all the things that we do, but there's more responsibility there than people have a clue. I did not.
I wasn't aware of this until we went on the air, but you said that you also pay the members of a jury in Stoddard County.
We do that. All the jury checks are cut by our office. We're responsible for, like I say, all the bills payable for the county. And the anticipated budget for this year, like I was telling you a while ago before we went on air, we're anticipating revenue of like $18.5 million. I'm responsible to keep an eye on that. That's part of the job, is to keep an eye on the budget.
Well, Cecil, you're running as the incumbent this time, and your first term, COVID hit. Did you have any challenges during COVID on keeping the county running? COVID was a challenge. It was. We got through it, no problem. Our office we had to be there because we had to keep the wheels turning. The sheriff's department needs to be paid. Their fuel cards need to be paid. Our office worked. Now, did we work some sporadic shifts? Some of them did.
They did, yes, to try to make sure we didn't have everybody sick at one time. We were fortunate we didn't have anybody get sick at that time, but we kept the wheels turning.
That's one thing that had to happen. The county government had to keep running during.
County government had to keep running, and we're responsible for that.
Cecil, what are the important traits of the Stoddard County Clerk?
Important traits that you need?
Yes.
You need experience with budget, finance, because you're dealing with numbers all the time. I tell the ladies in the office when we're dealing with, because throughout the year we're also dividing up money to go to different entities several times throughout the year for the schools. Be careful with each decimal point in zero. If we put one in the wrong spot, we could cost a school bus that they need. We could cost a road district a road that needs to be fixed. So you need to be a detailed person when it comes to numbers and finance. Is one of the things that you need to be. And you wouldn't think that. Like I say, the clerk's definition is keeper of records. That's a small part of what we do. It's all these
very
other.
Broad in general.
It is broad in general. It deals with the assessor, the county collector, treasurer, all the time. We're the checks and balances in place. You need to be prepared for anything that comes up.
Well, Cecil, when you first took the oath of office, did you have a perception of the job that didn't turn out to be what you thought it was, or was it more challenging? Was it different than you thought you signed up for?
It was more challenging, but my history helped me prepare for that. You don't know what's entailed in a job when you take on a new job until you're there. I had good preparation. My 41 years in business helped me prepare for that. My many years in government, dealing with budgets. As many people know, when I lived in Malden years ago, I was Mayor Malden, so I dealt with budgets there. I was president of the utility board, dealt with the budget there. I just can go down the list of different boards where I dealt with budgets. County budget fund government was a little different. It took me a little while to get acclimated to it, but I'm there now. I had a previous county clerk, and we talked about him a few minutes ago from another county, that was in for several years, and the first thing he told me was, Cecil, it's going to take you at least 4 years before you see everything that you need to see, because some things happen once a year, some things happen every 2 years, so it takes a while before you get acclimated to, okay, I've seen this before, I know what we need to do. And he was correct.
So Cecil, you've been in for about 4 years now. What's one of your biggest accomplishments as Stoddard County Clerk?
Biggest accomplishments. The new software system would probably be one of them. We're continually looking at ways to streamline the office to make it more efficient. I feel like I have an obligation, well, I don't feel like I do have an obligation to the citizens of Stoddard County to do the best we can to serve them and to be responsible for their money, to watch it. And some of that is through new innovations, new software technology that we continually trying to upgrade to make us more efficient.
Well, Cecil, how many elections have you been through in your 4 years that you've been there?
I'm going to say 6 or 7 off the top of my head. Elections people have no clue, they have no idea the preparation that goes into that. They're very time consuming. You're working on elections in an election year, like when you have 3, it seems like you're always working on the next election. We're already looking at the November election. We've already got some paperwork come in for that. We started working on this August 2nd election back in February and March. We started working on it.
Well, walk us through that, Cecil, because I don't think citizens of Stoddard County are aware of what goes into that. Ballots are printed, people have to sign up, get the ballots printed. There's always a hiccup, right?
Well, we try not to have one. This year so far, knock on wood, everything is flowing like it should be, but I've been there several years now, and I know how to plan ahead now, and that helps. And to look, okay, this is going to come up, let's try to head this off. And we're actually voting absentee in the office now. That started the 21st, where you can vote absentee. And that will continue on until the day before the election. Walk through the process. Well, it starts with filing, of course. Once the filing is complete, there's a period of time there to where then I'll certify that election. And then once we've done all of that, we send it off to the printer, and we start putting everything together. They start putting everything together for the election, and you have to plan for your polling places. There's just a lot of preparation that people don't see, but it needs to be done, and they don't need to see that. It's stuff we have to do.
I guess election night's probably exciting for the staff, for you, because you know that's kind of the epitome of your hard work comes to fruition that night, correct?
You're correct. Well, it starts for me usually around 4:30 in the morning when I get up to head to the office. We have the office and have the staff will be there by 5:30 because our judges don't know what we do without them. Now, you're talking about a long day for judges too. We have a long day because we're there until the last vote is counted that night, whatever time it is. They have to be there too. Open up the polling places at 5:30, close them down at 7. Then they have to tally everything. They've had a really long day. Don't know what we would do without them. Really don't. And that's getting to be a problem across the state. Is finding people that will put in those really long days because they're long days.
As Chief Elections Officer, how does it make you feel when people are challenging the legitimacy of elections?
I did not know how the Missouri elections worked, of course, until I was there. But I'm going to tell you, Missouri has a really good system. My opinion, I haven't seen, I haven't been a part of the other states, but the checks and balances that goes in place in Missouri, really, really good. Really, the equipment is not hooked to the internet. We will have a public testing in a few weeks, and we'll run test decks through it to make sure the machine is counting accurately. And that morning, the judges will, when they turn the machines on, it'll print out their zero count, so they know there's no ballots been entered. They'll watch that machine all day. At the end of the day, they'll hit the close button and it'll total it. There can't be another ballot added. It's over as far as adding anything to it.
A good question, Cecil. Are all voting machines, does everybody vote the same in Stoddard County? Does Pennerman vote like inner city Dexter?
Pennerman would probably vote over at Gray Ridge, Essex, would vote at Essex at the Church of Christ.
Same type of machine, though? They're all consistent
All the machines are the same.
Booths?
They're all the same. They're all the same company.
All polling booths have the same machine?
Have the same machine. None have any, there's not any different machines anywhere in the county.
How many polling sets is there in Stoddard County?
9. We have 9 voting precincts in the county. Now, you'll have 2 that will count. There'll be 11 total, but 2 of them are the county clerk's office. You have the absentee. The reason I'm telling you is because of precinct. People look and they'll say, well, I thought he said 9. Well, it'll show 11 precincts because the absentee machine counts as 1 precinct and vote center for the day of election counts as 1. So there's 11 total precincts, 9 voting places.
Sounds like a lot of moving parts, Cecil.
There's a lot of moving parts.
And it didn't just start on Election Day, right?
It doesn't start on Election Day. Like I said, we've been working on it for a while.
Well, Cecil, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're reapplying for the job as Stoddard County Clerk, and we're going to give you the last word to the citizens of Stoddard County.
I want to thank you for letting me serve this last 3.5 years. It's been a humbling experience. I want to ask for your continued support as your Stoddard County Clerk in the August 2nd election. Thank you.
Cecil, thank you for being on In the Arena.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.